Hello and welcome to a double stitch creations tutorial. Today I just thought I'd show you a quick tutorial on how to crochet into the chain. So the chain is the foundation stitch for any crochet project. So the way to create a chain is I'd make a slip knot first. So I wrap my yarn around my finger twice. I grab the back loop and I pull over the front loop. I get my yarn, I wrap it in front of the loop that is still on my finger, and grab the back loop and pull over the front loop. So you've got a slip knot, which allows you to pull tight or loosen as needed. And then to chain, you're just going to go yarn over and pull that yarn back to the loop that's on your hook. And you just do that for the number of the stitches you need. So you chain nearly every project that you start, be it a toy, headband, face crochet or blanket, you will start with this chain stitch. And then what you're going to do is you're going to crochet back down the chain. And you're going to put your crochet stitches in it. So this is your foundation for any project. And I thought it was a good idea to just give you a quick tutorial on it. The chain, there are 3 ways of going into the chain. No way is right or wrong. And it will depend on what project you're doing as to which way you might choose. So if you just take a look at your chain, it looks like a plait and you kind of got this V stitch. That's your chain stitch. You've got this top loop. You've got this loop here that's going into this next stitch. And then if you turn your chain to the side, you've even, see all these little bumps? That's another loop. It's called the back ridge. So these are the ways you can crochet into the chain. So I'll show you. Every project will tell you to crochet into the second chain from the hook. So what does that mean? Here's your hook. This is your first chain. You cannot crochet into that because it's just going to undo. Your work will just undo. So we always go into the second chain. So the first way of crocheting into the chain is to just go into the top loop of the chain. So here's our first stitch. This is our second. So I'm just picking up the top loop. Just this loop here, this top loop. I'm just putting my hook under that top loop only. So I only have one loop on my top of my crochet hook from the chain, and then going underneath, I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull my stitch back through the chain, and then yarn. It doesn't matter what stitch you're doing, I'm just doing a single crochet here. So this is one way of crocheting into the chain. So we're just going into the top loop only and doing your stitches as per normal. I like this way particularly if I'm going to be crocheting on the underside of the chain, if I'm making an oval shape, and I'll show you how to do that soon. So this is why I would pick this way. This is also the easiest and the fastest way. So it's probably, if you're just starting out, it's probably the easiest way to work into the chain. Okay, and what changes mainly with these 3 methods is the way it looks on the bottom. Okay, otherwise there's not really much difference. So the next way that I like to do a chain stitch, and it just really depends on what I'm doing. If I was starting out a toy, I might start with this way. If I was making like a ring, crocheting into a ring, doing 2 chains and then crocheting to the last chain stitch. But really there is no right or wrong. And so what you do is, instead of crowing into the top loop of your chain, we want to go under, making sure that we go under both these 2 stitches here. These 2. So this strand and this strand, we want to put our hook underneath both. So if you put your hook at the point of the V and just go underneath, you'll find that you will have the front loop and the back loop of your chain stitch on top. So this is the other way. This is probably the way I probably will use the least, I think, this way. But I do think it has a little bit nicer edge than this way, but it's really preference. So I'm just going into the point of the V and making sure that both strands of that chain stitch are on top. And just making sure you're picking up the front loop and the back loop of the stitch. And the third way, which is probably my favourite way, particularly for blankets or face washers, but generally if I'm crocheting something with a straight edge, this is the way I use, and we're going to crochet into that back ridge. So remember how we have here our front loop of the chain and this bottom loop here, and if we turn our work to the side, you see the little bumps in the back. That is called the back ridge. So you just turn your chain to the side and you'll see these little loops or little bumps, and you can actually crochet into them. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to crochet into those. So I'm just putting my hook, turning my chain to the side, and I'm just going to put my hook underneath that back ridge. Oops, it's not usually this hard, sorry. There we go. So I'm just going to do my stitching as normal. And I'm just crocheting into every one of those back loops, the back ridge of the chain. And just go. And what this does is it gives your work a really nice edge and a really nice finish to your work. And this is why this is my preferred method of crocheting into the chain. But no way is right or wrong. Do the method that you find the easiest, and you probably find as you get a bit more confident with your crocheting, you will change, which is what I've done. And I really like the edging on this one compared to the other ways of doing the crocheting into the chain. While I'm here, I'll also just show you how to crochet underneath the chain going in an oval shape. So for this, I've actually only recently discovered that if you pick up the top loop of the chain only, it seems to make your oval quite nice, I think. But again, it doesn't really matter. You probably wouldn't crochet into the back ridge if you were needed to make an oval to crochet underneath the chain. So you'd either do this way, picking up the top loop of the chain only, or you do the one where you pick up both loops. Now usually when you get to the last stitch, you put several stitches in there at once and your work will start to turn. So this is what it means to crochet underneath the chain. So here we worked back here. Now we're going to go underneath, and if you find that there's actually a natural hole where we put the stitch on the opposite side. There's a natural hole, so you just put your hook in there opposite the stitch on the other side, and it just makes it a little bit easier to see. So that's crocheting oval. So this, technically they're in the same stitch really, but one's on one side and one's on the other, and I kind of like that effect. So that's by crocheting into the top loop of the chain first, and then you've got your oval shape. I hope this tutorial helps. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.